it out that the sun shines down its power to all the world and makes the wind blow strong as it will. I wonder how gentle rains can fall upon the land, so lovely earth can stay lovely still. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 611th edition of Energy Week with George Harvey and Nancy Wolf, who is here.
Yes,
the
I'm
amazing
here.
Nancy Wolf.
Back, back from the ailments.
Back. This is all made up from articles that were posted in my blog. I should say today is the 14th of February. This show is made up from articles made from the 6th of February to the 12th. That's what it is. And it isn't recorded on the 13th, it's recorded on the 14th, and we're very confused. Am I right?
It's also Valentine's Day, so
it's Valentine's Day.
We bring love to the energy today.
I don't know, but I'll tell you, something needs love these days.
Agreed.
And
yeah,
we can
jump into
jump in. I should say these come from my blog, which is geoharvey.com, geoharvey.com, and you can get to the post the blog that is a different blog that has all of the stuff in the show in it by taking the link which is at the bottom of the screen, assuming that you're looking at this on a okay. Let's just start. Thursday, February 6th, we have a picture of a cardinal in New York, Central Park. Somehow those branches look like a bramble. They don't look like they belong in Central Park, do they?
I mean, there's parts of Central Park. It's great.
Central Park is interesting. It really is. There are coyotes living in Central Park, or at least there have been in the past. And during my lifetime, recently.
So the headline on this one is Earth just experienced its warmest January on record.
Yeah, this is from ABC News. Despite a record snowfall in the south, cold temperatures across the northeast, an emerging La Nina event, which is supposed to cool things down. February 2025, it was still warmer than any previous start to the year in the organization's data set going back to 1940. Do we talk about this twice in this show? There might have been something.
Sort of.
Okay.
No. We talk about the fires later. We're talking about the fires, so that's kind of
I actually at my blog I had this show up twice, and once was this, and then another one was more recent. And the thing is, in the United States, January was I think it might have been the coldest on record, but the rest of the world was the warmest on record. So people don't understand that. They don't understand that it can be horribly cold in one part of the world and overly warm in.
Yeah.
And the thing that I tell people, if they make that kind of observation, is you have to think in terms of records.
Yep.
If we had a climate that was not changing, the number of record highs and record lows that happen in the same day would be approximately equal. We have about 8,000 weather stations in the United States alone, and every one of them has an opportunity to set a record high or a record low every day, because they're setting them for that day. And it's conceivable that some of them set record highs and record lows on the same day. But it should be even, and it isn't.
Yeah.
For every record low we set 10 record highs. That's not good. So, should we go on?
Yeah.
Okay, we have a picture of a ZO Motors electric truck in an article from Clean Technica.
Yeah. Well, the headline here is Musk plays president while Tesla misses electric truck boat.
The auto industry observers are wondering if Elon Musk still wants to sell Tesla EVs now that he's a Trump advisor. Did you see that thing about him in the Oval Office? They had a press conference and Trump sat at a table and at his desk and just sat there while Elon Musk did all the talking, or almost all the talking. Elon Musk brought his son, who is about...
I saw that picture, yeah.
And this kid was small, you know, he's might be 5 years old or 4 years old. And the thing that I read was that Elon Musk was talking, and every once in a while Donald Trump would try to talk, and the kid would say, "You keep your mouth shut," or something like that. Shut your mouth. I don't... Okay, the company suffered a sales drop last year, and the Tesla Semi Class 8 electric truck, which is a tractor for a tractor trailer, is headed for stiff competition when it finally goes into full production in 2026, assuming that it does, because it's supposed to have gone into production a number of times in the past. And
that happens with him sometimes.
It's amazing that anything gets done there. But
yes,
I think the reason he decided to back Donald Trump was because he knew he was in trouble for Tesla, because its sales were dropping.
Right. I mean, that's when by Trump, it's crazy. It's very bizarre.
Yeah.
That's a word. Yeah.
Okay. Go on?
Yeah, let's go on.
Okay, we have a Siemens Gamesa wind turbine for a picture, and I don't think this is the same one that this story is about, but it's from Renews.
It's and the headline here is Siemens Gamesa secures certificate for 21.5 megawatt turbine.
Siemens Gamesa was granted a certificate to develop a prototype. Now, this isn't a certificate to produce the turbine, just to make a turbine prototype for a wind turbine with a capacity of 21.5 megawatts and 276 meter rotor. The prototype structure was certified by DNV and has until 2027 to develop the model, according to Danish Wind Certification Authority. 276 meters. 109.7 meters is the length of a football field with the end zones. So each blade on this rotor has got to be, each individual one is longer than a football field with its end zones. And I find that hard to imagine.
Yeah, yes, very large.
Very large. Well, I made a note here that the largest wind turbines in the world are prototypes, one of which is 22 megawatts from Mingyang. This one is from Siemens Gamesa is 21.5. And then there's another one from, Dongfang. You can tell where this is going on.
And we're talking about that revolution sort of later, right?
Yeah.
There's
It's incredible how far the United States is behind China.
Yep.
And a lot of that is because of Donald Trump, I think.
Yes. He's definitely setting it up for that to keep going.
Yeah, when Donald Trump took office in 2017, the the number of electric buses in the world had just started increasing, I think people would not notice it unless they were actually paying attention to the statistics. I don't know if Barack Obama understood that this was happening, because it wasn't a thing, really. And by the time Donald Trump finished his term 4 years later, China was producing electric buses like BBs.
Yeah.
You know, it's just turning them out. There were already 17,000 electric buses in the city of Shenzhen.
Yeah.
Who knows about Shenzhen? It's the
Factories.
Yeah.
Factories. Lots of factories.
Just the next city north of Hong Kong. They are right in the same place.
Yeah.
And no, anyway, yeah. Okay.
Let's go.
Are we done with that? Yes, I guess
yeah.
we are.
Yeah.
Okay, this picture is battery storage site, and each of those things that looks like a little mobile home or school bus or, you know, something.
It's kind of like a computer.
Yeah.
At the same time, too.
Each one of those. Well, you can see the trucks down at the bottom.
Yeah.
And each one of those things is a battery storage thing. This is from Renews.
And the headline is CIP starts construction on 960 megawatt hour ounce? No, OZ.
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 It's for Australia.
Okay.
The Australians
Oz.
call their country Oz.
Oz.
It's the
battery
land
site.
of Oz.
The land of Oz.
CIP, Copenhagen Infrastructure Partners. Yeah, it's working a long ways from home here. Is starting construction on the first large-scale battery energy storage site in Australia. The 240 megawatt, 960 megawatt hour Summerfield project in the state of South Australia. It comes after financial investment decision made in September 2024. And South Australia is the state that they had a terrible electric outage. It went on for days because I think it was tornadoes tore up a bunch of the pylons for the transmission system. And Elon Musk jumped in and said, if you people will put up one of my batteries, I will have it up within 100 days of the time you sign the contract, or you get it for free. And it would be a 100 megawatt battery, which at that time was huge. And they contracted for it, and 97 days later, there was a severe period of severe demand, and the demand was met by that battery.
Amazing.
And what happened was, in the meantime, the liberal, what we call liberal, what they don't call liberal, they call it labor. The Labor Party lost an election in South Australia. The Liberal Party, which is what we would call conservative, took over, and they had all this renewable energy stuff, and they were saying, we don't need that. We're gonna ditch it. And that battery saved a lot of money for them in that very short event. And they said, well, maybe we should just leave this. And they did some other stuff. Now they're a conservative government that is hell-bent on getting to a point where they have renewable energy storage, and they're free of fossil fuels because they've discovered it saves a lot of money. Yeah. So anyway, where are we? We're here. There we go.
This one's fun.
This one is fun. From Clean Technica.
This is a 20,000 euro Volkswagen electric car, the next VW Beetle.
Yeah, with a question mark.
Yeah.
Not many cars are able to compare with the Volkswagen Beetle. You know, it looks more like a Beetle if you take the windshield wipers and you lift them away from the windshield so they point forward, and then you turn them on. they go back and forth, you know, pointing forward while you drive the car around. It looks like this Beetle has got some serious antennae going on. Okay, it was special. Volkswagen, I'm sorry for pronouncing it like it's German, but you know, it is.
I know, it is German.
May now be working on a 2020s Beetle, an electric one. The company is looking into a 20,000 euro super affordable EV, and it wrote about that in a news release on the matter. Now, 20,000 euros is less than $21,000. So this is interesting.
I would say this is very interesting and very attractive for people.
Yeah.
This is like a cool thing.
Yeah.
This is a cool thing, and that's maybe takes the place of other cool things.
Well,
that were once cool before.
Yeah, if Donald Trump decides that he's going to tax these things at a 25% rate and they're tariff, and they are not made in the United States, they could be made in the United States. VW has a couple of big factories in the United States, including battery factories, but they'd still be less than $27,000.
Even with the
even with the
punishment,
tariff. Yeah. So that is, I think, yeah.
That's cool.
Okay.
Oh, here's the fun one now. Here we go.
Yeah. From Clean Technica.
We have Tesla Cybertruck reservations go poof. Now free wraps for Q1 orders.
Yeah, Tesla is rolling out discounts to get people to buy a new Model 3 or Cybertruck. It seems a bit early in the quarter for Tesla to be doing this. It seems to indicate consumer demand challenges after the first year of decreasing sales since the Model S was launched in 2012. This is, I think, the reason why Elon Musk decided to get into politics, because he had to escape Tesla, to escape a responsibility for this thing.
Mr. Choppers, as it says.
Mr. Choppers, yeah. This is an offensively ugly, I'm sorry if I'm offending somebody by saying this, but I find this an offensively ugly vehicle. I mean, it looks like it was designed to offend people with its appearance. That's the way I read it.
Well, you know, it's not a truck, right? It's not a truck, is it? It's not really a truck. How could it be a truck?
Well, it's got an open bed in back. You can't see that from the side.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah. I know. I saw one in Brattleboro, and I thought about the Ford F-350 we had when I was a kid. That's a vehicle that I learned to drive in.
Okay.
That Ford F-350 could carry a ton of stuff. I mean, literally, it was rated for a ton, 2,000 pounds. And this thing looks wimpy by comparison in terms of what it can carry. Now, admittedly, the F-350 didn't have an extended cab. This does. I'm not sure I'd want to get into the back seat. Of course,
None of it looks safe. It might blow up also. That's possible. But.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what Elon Musk had in his mind, but I think it might have been that he wanted to offend people. And I'm sorry. There may be people who think this is the coolest thing that happened since Captain America entered.
Or they think it's funny and they just do it for funny.
Would you spend the amount of money it takes?
I wouldn't. No, I'm not saying I would. I would not. No, that's not me.
I have been known to do things that I did just to be funny, and they were extravagant.
I just don't know about that. That's a level of extravagance that's beyond my ability.
When I was in high school, I happened to have a full set of tails. I mean, I had the tails, the jacket with the tails, and the correct trousers and the white tuxedo vest and everything. I also had a motor scooter, and I went driving around Vespa. I went driving around in tails on the Vespa because I thought it would look cool.
Totally looks cool. I'm sure it did.
That was
Ruined
extravagant. The tails? No, it didn't ruin the tails. Didn't ruin them at all. My father was a minister, and the church had a rummage sale, and the tails and a bunch of other clothing showed up at the rummage sale, and they didn't fit anybody but me. So the people at the rummage sale didn't want to throw them out, and they said, "Would you take these?" I had a white tuxedo and a black tuxedo and the tails and a Chesterfield from Brooks Brothers, and it was okay. Let's escape this. Okay, we're up to Saturday, February 8th. We have an item from Solar Power World.
Yeah, it's solar accounts for 81.5% of new electricity sources added to U.S. grid in 2024.
Over 90% of new generating capacity added in the United States in 2024 was renewable. That's over 90%. Of all new capacity, solar came first with 30,816 megawatts. That's over 30 gigawatts. This is big. Yep. And wind was second with 3,128 megawatts. In third place, natural gas added 2,428 megawatts. No, that's not really what happened. Really, it lost capacity. I'll get into that. And nuclear was fourth with 1,100 megawatts, which it had done after doing the same amount the year before and nothing for 20 some odd years before that. Additions of natural gas fell from 11, this isn't in the article, I did research for this, from 11,285 megawatts in 2023, 11,000 to 2,428 in 2024. And installed capacity of natural gas fell from 43.89% to 43%. Natural gas has almost no capacity being planned to be added compared to the amount that's being removed because the plants are getting old.
Yep, right.
We're going into the era of renewables, and Donald Trump can't change that by fiat.
Yep.
And he may, get new plants added, one or two, but we have to remember what he did to coal in his first term in the presidency.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You remember Trump digs coal?
Yep.
Almost a third of the coal miners lost their jobs while he was in the White House. And the reason? It was because of his actions. He was backing fracking, and fracking competes with coal. What can you say? Okay, we have to go on.
Yes, let's go.
And we have a solar farm here. Is that what we have?
Oh, this is the same as being the next one.
I need the next one. There we go. Q cells, Clean Technica.
This, oh, I apologize. I was behind. So global cost of renewables to continue falling. All right. No, I'm at the wrong one.
You're at the wrong one.
Okay. I'm missing a page.
Well, I'll read it, okay? It's all right. USA surpasses 50 gigawatts.
No, it is. That's the same one. I just read that.
Global cost of renewables to continue falling. You were right.
Okay.
Okay, I apologize. I apologize that I made you apologize. This is from Renews. Okay, a report by Bloomberg NEF says new wind and solar farms are undercutting new coal and gas plants on production costs already in almost every market globally. Why is it that we are planning on being energy dominant by selling oil to people? I don't get it. Trade barriers could temporarily stall declines, but BNEF still expects the levelized cost of electricity for clean technologies to fall between 22% and 49% by 2035.
So this is a very good milestone, and I will also say that I think I underline the even with these barriers that are being put up, what you just said earlier, even with all these barriers put up, they still expect it to fall.
Yes. And the United States under Joe Biden was dominating the world in terms of oil production.
True.
So Donald Trump took that on as a goal. Why? If he acts against oil, acts on oil the same way he acted on coal, the oil industry is in trouble. And maybe they wouldn't have backed him if they knew that. Okay, we have a picture. Whoop, what is going on here? I hit the wrong one. Is that what we have
Yes,
next?
that's what we have.
Okay, thank you.
This is China cuts renewable energy subsidies amid record solar boom.
China's top economic planning agency announced plans to scale back subsidies for renewable energy projects after a record surge in solar and wind power installations. In 2024, China's installed solar capacity soared by 45%, reaching 887 gigawatts, which is 6 times as much as we have in the United States.
That's how it's done.
Why is it that China is doing this and not the United States?
Because they're being smart.
I think it's because the Supreme Court is not smart.
Yes, that is also true. Yeah, but it's just how it's done. Like, this is how you do it. This is how it's done.
Yeah, and Citizens United has made it possible for
yes
for big companies to dominate the political agenda, and that in turn has made it possible for super billionaires to take over the cabinet of the United States. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If we want to be in the greatness position that we had in the past, we have to do things differently.
We have to. Yes, we definitely do.
Okay, we have a launch. Here we go.
Yes.
This is from ABC News.
Yeah. So as he helps fight DEI, Musk's SpaceX has a huge contract to send first woman and person of color
to the moon.
To the moon. To the moon. To the moon.
I thought he was going to Mars. As Elon Musk works to reduce government spending by cutting diversity programs and waste, which is what DEI is, his SpaceX corporation has a multi-billion-dollar contract to help NASA land a woman and a person of color on the moon. Would it count for both if the woman was a person of color?
I mean, that would, yes, that both, well, if you have both a woman person of color, a man person of color, then you checked all your boxes. Yeah. Non-binary person too, just to add some flavor.
Tulsi Gabbard is a person of color. She said so. Would she count?
Well, she's Hawaiian, no?
She's Samoan.
Right, you
American
said
Samoan.
American Samoan.
Which means that she's a born American citizen.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like Tulsi Gabbard, by the way.
Yeah.
I wonder about her recent choices, but I like her. Okay. So this seems like a measure of hypocrisy. I don't know.
I mean, I think did I print this? Yeah, I think this one is, yeah. I think I said, did I say something about this one? I don't know. Maybe not. It's possible I didn't. Maybe I didn't. But it's, yeah. It's a ridiculous, It's a ridiculous experience reading that article.
It is reading the article, which, by the way, I don't know if I said it, but it was ABC News.
Yeah.
Our next article is from BK Reader. This might be the first article I've had on the show from BK Reader.
Yeah, and this is Brooklyn's all-electric skyscraper to be fully powered by renewable energy.
This is cool. Alloy Development selected, that's a company, Radial Power and Max Solar to supply 100% renewable energy to 505 State Street, New York City, the first all-electric residential skyscraper. The agreement will help the tower achieve its goal of becoming the city's first carbon-free high-rise. I did an interview with a guy several years ago who built it wasn't a high-rise, but it was 6 stories high, in Brooklyn. And it was 100% renewable. And it got all of its energy from itself.
Yeah.
And, it's amazing what you can get. Do you know about, what is the name of that? Babcock Ranch?
No.
Babcock Ranch is a community. And when I say that, I don't mean 100 people. I mean thousands of people. It's a sizable community in southwestern Florida. And Hurricane Ian, when it hit, wiped out the electrical system in southwestern Florida, except for Babcock Ranch. And the lights didn't even flicker there. They had gusts of over 150 miles an hour. They had winds over 100 miles an hour. And, virtually, very small amount of damage to their electric system. They were absolutely operational. And the reason was because they were built to be resilient. Now, they were also built only a few feet higher than the Gulf of Mexico. By the way, Gulf of Mexico, I say that without apology.
Yes.
But,
I have some comments on this one, which I did some digging in this because this is kind of my old world.
Okay.
And I find this interesting because they're using a mall in East New York. It's like, it has like BJ's, it has like, it's like a mall. So they're going on top of this mall in East New York.
Okay.
And this building, what they're doing is they're having 100 residencies and they're doing 200 permanently affordable apartments. And the rate of affordability is actually decent on this one, which a lot of them are not actually affordable. The city says it's affordable, but it's like $2,000 a month or $1,500 a month for one person making under $50,000 a year or something. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But here they have it like 700, 800. Yeah, they're actually affordable. Yeah.
Wow.
And they're going to put 2 public schools
in
this building too.
Thank you for doing that. That's good to know. Wow. Okay. Are we done with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're up to Monday, February 10th, and we have a picture of a wind farm, wind turbines, Xinhua.
Yeah. China accelerates reform of renewable power pricing to promote sustainable development.
China is accelerating the market-oriented reform of its renewable power pricing system in a bid to build a new power system and promote sustainable development of renewable capacity. Industry experts believe this reform is essential for sustainable growth. I was struck by this.
Yeah.
And the reason I was struck by it is because, when I was young, which means more than 5 years ago, most of my friends, actually more than 20 years ago, but most of my friends were conservative. And they were always harping on the idea that you shouldn't pick winners and losers. You should let the market do that. And now here we see China doing that, while the United States is picking a loser to be a winner.
Yep.
The United States is trying to make America great again by returning to its time of greatness when we were the dominant energy producer because of oil in Texas and stuff like that. Even Texas isn't doing that.
And so
but China is.
Yeah, I mean, I think, look, I think what they're doing is very wonderful, because because I read this at the end of this article. It says this will help the growth of China's broader renewable energy ecosystem, so that they can further innovate. And now that, okay, we've got this, we're good on this part. Let's now move to this other new technology, so we can develop that.
One little problem is they're building more coal stations.
That's not good.
No, it's not.
That's not good.
And I'm not sure why they're doing that. I think the reason is because the government is trying to pick a winner and it's picking a loser.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. So we have to move ahead, I think. We have a picture of a, that is what's called a skateboard, that picture.
I see.
It's a solid state EV battery system, but if you look at it, it includes the motor, and it includes the tires and so forth. And that system is called a skateboard. And actually, there is a skateboard under the Tesla Cybertruck. And if you wanted to and had the ability, you could take that body off and replace it with a body that looked like a 1956 Ford F-350. That would be cool.
Interesting. Interesting. Well, so the headline on this one is U.S. is losing the solid-state EV battery race bigly.
Yes, this is from Clean Technica. Now that President Trump throttled back on clean tech innovation in the United States, the field is wide open for other nations to leap in, and they are. The latest example is the UK firm Ilika. Known for its micro batteries, Ilika is heading toward commercial production of a solid-state EV battery.
That's incredible.
Isn't it? I think we should mention Donald Trump is throttling back on clean tech innovation in the United States. We are still supporting fossil fuels in various ways. And one of the things...
Welfare.
Huh?
Welfare.
Welfare, yeah. One of the things that Tom Fennell used to talk about is that if your oil well runs dry, the Department of Energy pays you for your losses.
Wow. I mean, I don't know anything that works that way. That sounds really wonderful.
It's
something
great.
Doesn't work, then you get paid. That's just wow. Okay.
It's bizarre.
Yeah.
But that's what we do. Okay.
Yep.
Should we go on?
Yeah, let's go on.
Okay, we have an article from PD Magazine India.
Its headline is Juniper Green raises $1 billion in debt financing to expand its clean energy portfolio.
Juniper Green Energy. Do they have juniper in India?
Probably.
I don't know.
I don't know.
We have juniper growing in the United States, but I don't know. I guess they must in India. Juniper Green Energy, based in India, announced that it has received $1 billion in phased debt financing. The funding will support growth of Juniper Green Energy and its subsidiaries for wind, solar, hybrid, and projects for firm renewable energy. Now, I want to explain two terms here. One is phased debt.
Yeah.
It means that the debt doesn't have to be repaid in a lump sum when it comes due, it's repaid on a regular basis over time, which is the way a home mortgage would
Right.
be.
Yeah.
The other thing is firm renewable energy.
That's what I was. That's the one that I really. That's the one that I definitely didn't understand.
Firm renewable, and I love this, near firm renewable.
My God.
This is really good.
It's like tofu.
Well, firm renewable means it's backed up with battery to the point where you don't have to worry about it running out.
So kind of like what they say with outlets, like grounded versus ungrounded energy, almost like with circuits.
What firm
Sorry, I'm going back to physics class now.
is if you have a solar farm, you can get energy from it 24 hours a day. And if it's firm, then you can just depend on that energy being there, which means you've got money into batteries. Near firm is a term that NextEra Energy came up with, and it defined near firm. It said near firm solar, near firm wind. The term near firm means that it is sufficiently backed up by batteries to be as reliable as nuclear for dispatching electricity on demand during peak demand times. Near firm means as reliable as nuclear.
See, is that supposed to make me feel like it's reliable?
Nuclear is the one that they claim goes 24/7.
Yeah, I mean, they claim. I mean, this is what I mean. It's like where there's two realities here. Is it the claims or is it the reality?
It's the
claims.
Yeah, but they're just saying it is at least that reliable.
Yeah.
Which means it is somewhat unreliable because nuclear is somewhat unreliable. But we've got away pretty much with nuclear working on the grid because the grid is there. So if a nuclear plant goes down, you got a lot of other things. But I'll tell you, I saw a coal burning plant suddenly break down in Australia. I wasn't there, I just read about it. And the price of electricity at the time of the breakdown was about $65 per megawatt hour, and it suddenly jumped to $12,000 per megawatt hour. 65 to 12,000. Their spot market was updating every 5 minutes. It went from $65 to $12,000 in 5 minutes. And then 5 minutes later, it had dropped to 2,000 or something. And then it kept dropping for hours and hours and hours, and it finally wound up being, many hours later, $1,000 compared to that 65 that it started with. And the reason was because it didn't have the grid to be able to back up. In the United States, our grids usually back us up. Although, I was in Brooklyn in 1965 in November when the blackout happened, and we were many hours without power. And that has happened many times. But that was where we were. Firm renewable energy, which is what Juniper Green Energy is producing, is going to it just means that they're there 24/7.
Yeah, no, that's stable. That is stable. That's stable.
And I want to point out also, solar panels produce electricity on overcast days.
Yeah.
Not as much, but they do produce it. And if they overbuild slightly, this thing is going to be really reliable, more reliable than nuclear.
Yes.
And but it's going to be better energy because it will respond to changes in demand instantly, where nuclear doesn't do that. It can't do that. So you have to have other kinds of electricity available. Peaker plants, load following plants. We're talking about nuclear energy in a paid down position being able to provide you with 6 cents per kilowatt hour If it's a new plant, it's going to be 10.5 cents compared to near-firm solar, near-firm wind, less than 4 cents. Except the nuclear energy, if it costs 10.5 cents, it's got to have a peaker plant behind it. And that is going to be like 30 cents per kilowatt hour.
Well, then there's also the Price-Anderson Act, which means that costs us a whole another thing if any
Yes, I
accidents
know.
happen.
Price-Anderson. I'm sitting here saying if I had life insurance like Price-Anderson, I'd probably shoot myself because it would be so much money.
So much money. It's so much money.
Yeah. Okay. We're up to Tuesday, February 11th.
Okay.
And we have, oh, it's this picture.
Yes. Very nice.
It's a nice picture of Utah, the Arches National Park. There was a Clean Technica picture which was similar to this, but I didn't want to use it because I didn't know who owned it. Mm-hmm. But anyway, this is from Clean Technica.
It's Utah's clean solar energy and storage boom.
There has been a boom in solar power production in Utah. What's driving it? Meta's, or Facebook's, huge data processing center is one thing. Meta has guaranteed powering its data centers entirely with renewable energy and a massive new green energy project nearly ready to go online. Now, the really interesting thing about this is, what is that thing called? DeepSeek. You don't know about DeepSeek? A Chinese startup presented artificial intelligence that was ahead of what we've had in the United States for a really low cost.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, these people who were saying we need nuclear plants for, which is preposterous, but they were saying we need nuclear plants, or we need to keep coal plants open, or natural gas plants open so artificial intelligence gets the electricity it needs to ruin our lives.
Yes.
And these people don't need it. And so all of a sudden that whole portion of our industry is kind of up in the air. So I don't know where that's going to. Did you know that I invented an artificial intelligence system?
Tell me about that.
And it doesn't sell, and that is, I think, it didn't sell, and it's not going to. It's I think a measure of the weakness of capitalism for funding innovation. I'm not saying that capitalism is worse than socialism here, because I don't think socialism is good either. I think what we need is something that's totally new.
Yep.
And I've got a better example. You know, that was my invention. I invented a way to build modular buildings, and it's never been built except in models, but the models show that it could be built. And
why do you build models?
I went to Arthur D. Little at the time that this was done, which was 50 years ago. And I said, I've got this thing. And they said, you know, they had an inventions management group at that time, which they don't have anymore. And the 6 months later, they hadn't told me that they wanted it or that they didn't want it. So I called and I said, I've been waiting 6 months. And I was put through to a guy named Sam Tischler, who was the president of that division, which kind of surprised me. And he came on the phone and knew instantly what it was we were talking about. And he said he wanted to apologize because they had held this too long. They couldn't do it because the engineers said it was really important, but the lawyers said it couldn't be patented. If it can't be patented and it is important, it's not going to get funding except from the government. And there is nothing in the free market economy theory that says what to do in that event. So what do? You get a different way.
Yeah.
Okay, should we go on?
You turn the coin. You turn it on to another side.
Yes, this coin has many sides.
Yep.
Okay, we're going to go away from Utah and get to,
Hawaii.
we're behind schedule. Hawaii, and this is from Maui now.
So Hawaiian electric surges to 36% renewable energy on grids.
Boosted by new utility scale and rooftop solar capacity in 2024, utility Hawaiian Electric achieved a 36% consolidated renewable portfolio standard, accelerating progress toward 2030 RPS milestone of 40%. The RPS increased by 3 percentage points in 2023. And I don't have a note that says what RPS means.
It's the renewable portfolio standard.
Right, you got it. What a smart girl. Oh, yes, it's right there.
Yes, it's right before. Yeah,
Okay.
it's just reading.
Okay, should we go on? Yes, we
Yeah,
should.
let's go. Let's go.
This is a cool picture, I think.
I do think it's cool.
Those circles are much bigger than you would think just looking at it, because they don't look all that big, but
This is
these things are big.
This is from PV Magazine International.
Thank
It's
you.
Partners plan floating solar projects in Australia.
Renewable energy engineering company Canopy Power and Ocean Sun partnered to bring a new floating solar technology to Australia. Ocean Sun's patented circular floating solar system has a 70-meter buoyancy ring covered by reinforced membrane to support solar modules. These things are like boats, but they are big boats that have...
Yeah, they look kind of fun.
They look like that ring that goes around the edge is probably big enough that you could pitch a tent on it and spend the night floating on a floating solar.
I know it sounds kind of fun.
It is kind of fun, I think. We're up to Wednesday, February 12th. I'm catching up with
Yes, I
from
know.
lost
Oh
time.
yes, this is the.
Oh, this is from ABC News,
Yep,
and
I got stuff on this one.
it's not that the fire is reignited. They've got a different problem.
Yeah, California's insurer for people without private coverage needs $1 billion more for LA fires claims.
The FAIR plan, California's plan that provides insurance to homeowners who can't get private coverage, needs $1 billion more. And by the way, after this article appeared, the legislature sat down and started putting together a law that would provide half that amount, but maybe more is coming. They need $1 billion more to pay out claims related to the Los Angeles wildfires, according to state insurance department. This is very sad. These people have lost their homes, and the best they can come up with is, if they have it, they have to have subscribed to the FAIR plan.
Well, this quote for me here was kind of put it in, which was the insurance commissioner who was really intense on it, Ricardo Lara. He said, wildlife survivors can't cash what ifs to pay for food and rent, but they can cash FAIR plan checks.
Okay. But the FAIR plan check is not going to rebuild their home.
No.
It'll help them. Probably give them
Something.
a pretty good down payment on an apartment rental.
Yes.
And but my cousin, there was a fire in Oakland.
Yeah.
His house burned down, and he had just renewed his insurance, and he got a big enough payout. He is an accountant, and his wife is an attorney. And they knew what they were doing, and he got a big enough payout that he could go to one of those communities north of San Francisco and buy what he called a postage stamp farm, which is 20 acres where he could keep Angus cattle and kind of lay back and work one day a week. His wife was working one day a week. He is one of the nicest people I know, and his wife is too. This is a really fun couple. Anyway, this is the most exciting article that I saw this week. It's from Clean Technica.
And it's Terravis Energy unveils a heat pump that defies freezing.
Yeah.
Down to negative 57 degrees Fahrenheit below.
That's astonishing. And the thing that people should pay attention to, this is an inside thing where they're testing heat pumps. The Terravis heat pump is the one on the far right. It's the only one you can see that isn't completely covered with ice. This thing is working.
Yep.
And okay, let me read this. Terravis Etherlux heat pump system stands out from all others. This new groundbreaking system operates at negative 57 Fahrenheit to 131 degrees Fahrenheit, which means that it's going to offer some pretty hefty air conditioning when summer comes. Eliminates defrost cycles, so it's like a auto defrost refrigerator. You remember defrost refrigerators? You do.
There's a button you press.
And paves the way for a new era in energy efficiency. There is no competition in its energy range. There will be soon, by the way. But this tells you, you could put these things in Vermont, in Brattleboro, you could put one of these things in, and it would be the only thing you'd need aside from a good wood stove in case the electricity is gone. But, there it is. Okay, our last item.
Our last item.
This is from Renews.
And the headline is, UF tariffs could spur 7% rise in onshore wind costs.
A report from Wood Mackenzie, and this report is titled Trade War Hits U.S. Onshore Wind Power, warns that tariffs could threaten project viability and potentially slow growth in the wind industry. It finds that U.S. proposed tariffs could increase U.S. onshore wind turbine costs by 7% and overall project costs by 5%. I want to point out, NextEra Energy was talking about the near-firm prices of solar and wind, and near-firm meaning backed up by batteries, at under 4 cents per kilowatt hour wholesale in both cases, which would decrease our costs if we could have that in Vermont. Even increasing that by 7%, or 7 plus 5%, does not bring it to the point where natural gas, coal, or nuclear is remotely near competitive. So, okay. And by the way, if you're going to build a wind plant, a gas plant or a nuclear plant, you're going to have to buy steel. And the steel is going to be more expensive because of the tariffs.
We're not an island.
No, we're not an island. That's true. And there are a lot of people who think that if you get things roiled up enough, if you just create anarchy, you can get something out of that. And unfortunately, that's not how you. That's how you scare rats to run around so that you can capture one. That's not exactly how
you legislate.
You don't run a country that way. So maybe Donald Trump will turn out to offer us something that we really need. Maybe. But I don't see it. So we're up to our last slide, which says, have an excitingly creative week.
Yes.
So there we are.
There we are.
And you should put us both up so that we can wave goodbye. And
goodbye now. I hope you enjoyed that.
And
Happy Valentine's Day.
I hope we're all back next time. Yes, happy Valentine's Day. I don't have anything to give you.
I have not.
And you don't have anything to give me.
No.
So we're equal.
Yeah.